All right, looks like everybody's pretty much done with that video. So for those of you that are upholders, hopefully that made sense. For those of you that aren't upholders, it gives you a little bit of a view into the upholder tendency and how we view expectations. So as she said, the upholders, understanding upholders, they balance their inner and outer expectations. So again, when we're talking about outer expectations, we want to do what others expect of us. So if someone asks us for help, we feel compelled or obliged, obligated to help them. And we're happy to do those things for people because, again, we want to make sure that we're helping other people. That's kind of in our nature. We feel like we feel good helping somebody with something. But we also want to make sure that as upholders, we also ensure that we care about ourselves, and the inner expectations are equally as important to us. So we strive to meet personal goals, as Jennifer said, that upholders are ones that are the gung-ho on the New Year's resolutions. We want to meet all of our personal goals in our lives, and that's something that I personally, I know that I do. I see myself whenever I was reading the chapters about the upholders, I was like, that's exactly the things I do. I make goals for myself. I'm very self-motivated to get those things done. So when there expectation overlap between inner and outer, you do tend to lean to one or the other, either that questioner side or the obliger side. We'll talk about that here towards the very end of my little piece, but just know that there are times that you have conflict between the two, and you're going to tend to lean to one side or the other. Upholders love schedules. As she said in the little video, we love to check items off to-do lists. So I know that I wake up in the morning, and if I know what I'm doing, my day goes great. If I kind of don't know what I'm doing, my day doesn't go as good. We like to be organized, and that helps with our ability to meet those expectations for other people and for ourselves. Easily form habits and make routines. So this is gonna be the person that complete daily tasks in the same order. You know, for me, I get up every morning, I feed my dog, get the iron going to iron my clothes, make my coffee. So it's kind of the same thing for me every single day. And when taken out of this routine, it can lead to discomfort. So through the weekend, like I said, I'm doing my things in order every day. If I kind of fall out of order, I'm probably going to be at work late. I'm probably not going to have the greatest day. Then we make decisions and act. So once making the decision to do something, it's kind of nose at the grindstone. We're going to do whatever we can to get that task accomplished. You know, if someone that asks us to do something, you know, we're more than happy on that obliger side to help them out and get it done. And if it's something that we decided on, again, like the New Year's resolution, you know, if we made that resolution, we say we're going to do it, we're going to do it. So upholder strengths. So the first thing is we're disciplined. You know, once we say we're going to do something, we do it. There's pretty much nothing that's going to get in our way from getting that task or that expectation accomplished. So we're reliable to ourselves and others. We hold commitments very, very well. We do the same. We do what we say we are going to do. So our word is very important to us. We don't want to let others down, but our word is also very important to ourselves. So we don't want to let ourselves down. Self-directed and motivated. So we rarely meet deadlines. We keep appointment, good at managing tasks, and we don't depend on supervision or oversight to stay on track. So again, we're kind of reaching for that check off that item on the to-do list. So we're motivated in that respect. We tend to be rule followers. I find it kind of weird about myself, but yeah, I do see myself being a rule follower. Tend to not question superiors and kind of do as we're asked. And reading the chapter, it kind of did specifically talk about following recipes. So these are the people that are going to follow recipes precisely. So if I'm cooking and I'm following a recipe, like, I'm going to follow it as it says it's going to, as it says. I might substitute some things, but I'm following the recipe as it says it's going to, as it says, because I want my recipe to turn out good. I want, if I'm going to take the time to cook something, you know, I want it to taste well. I want it to turn out good. Upholders can count on themselves, uphold to our self-commitments. We're independent, and low instances of burnout. So unlike the other tendencies, we have the ability to meet self-expectations. So I think that's where, like someone like on Jennifer's side, you're always constantly doing things for other people that at some point you just stop, you're done. But upholders, since we do like to take care of ourselves as well, we don't get burnt out on helping people because we do take that alone time or my me time to get what I need to get done as well.
And you'll say no to other people.
Yeah.
Messes with what you need to accomplish.
So again, that's what we'll talk about on the overlap. We do, if there's ever a conflict, like I said, we do lean to one side or another. So we do have the ability to say no on that obliger side if it could potentially mess with my inner expectation. So the weaknesses were stiff. So again, like I said just a second ago, we're rule followers, but we also follow rules to a T. So we're not one to bend rules. Sometimes we follow rules even when it might make more sense to not follow that rule or bend that rule to make an exception. And so we also follow through on our commitments when it may inconvenience others. So I know personally for me, I leave work, I'm going home, I'm changing into my gym clothes, and I'm going to the gym. If I'm making plans with someone and so I get off work at 4, I'll be done at the gym by 5:30 or 6. They want to make plans at 5. Well, you can make plans at 5. I'm not going to be there at 5 because I'm going to the gym. So that's me meeting my inner expectation. I'm going to the gym and I'll meet you there at 6, or I'll be there at 6:15 or whenever I get done at the gym. So, you know, in that respect, it may inconvenience other people if you're trying to group plan. I'll be a part of the group in about an hour, after you guys have already started. Impatient. So we think others should have the same motivation as ourselves. And we have difficulty delegating. So we don't think always that someone's going to do the level of work, the level of expertise, or the same level of, put the same level of effort into something that we're going to do. So when I was a manager, I worked in retail management for a number of years. I had trouble delegating for a long time. But when I finally got comfortable and had staff that I could trust, I would delegate out tasks to them, and I was fine with it. But it took a lot of time for me to get used to that and accept the fact that I can't do everything in this big department all by myself every day. I have to rely on these people. So we doubt others' ability to follow through on commitments. And like I said, we think that their way to do a task isn't the best way. So we think our way is always the best way. We resist holding others accountable. So like Jennifer was saying a second ago, I think she said about she gets in a group to get herself motivated. And the same thing was the lady at the very beginning. She was talking about the person who was in track, and she had no problem being in track and being committed to a group, but was relying on herself as an obliger. She wasn't going to do those things. So we think that other people should be as accountable to themselves as we are to ourselves. So sometimes we hate.
You just don't get it.
Sometimes we hate the fact that other people latch on to our commitment. And I see that. I see that I've had people that want to work out with me, and I'm like, you should want to work out for yourself. You know, it's not my job to motivate you. Or my brother told me before that I should put his kids on a meal plan. And I'm like, that's your job as a parent. It's not my job. So, so I can see myself doing some of those things. And then resistant to change. So again, we like to be in our space, in our schedule. And when we get taken out of that our comfort zone, we don't feel good. So one of the biggest things I ever did that kind of even still surprised me to this day was moving down to Texas. Never even been here. So I've kind of beyond the resistance to change part now a little bit, but it is our tendency to get in our little space and be comfortable doing what we're doing and not like change. Okay, so then we're going to talk a little bit about the tendency overlap. So we overlap with upholder questioners. So more weight is given to those inner expectations, and then we also overlap with the upholder obliger. So where you would put more weight given to the outer expectations. So I personally would be more on the upholder questioner side. So you may question outer expectations, asking if a certain task or duty is necessary. So that's kind of that questioner side. And then when there's an outer or inner expectation conflict, we're gonna go with ourselves. So we're greater weight is given to that inner expectation. So if a coworker needed assistance with a task, but it would inhibit our progress on our own tasks that we needed to get done, or it might hinder our deadline that we have for ourselves, we're going to go with our side. We're going to go with that inner expectation. Whereas an obliger, they're going to probably drop everything that they're doing and help you out. And then it kind of goes back to when we were talking about New Year's resolutions. So upholders are really big about making resolutions and sticking to them. But on the questioner side of me, I don't need a specific date to set a resolution. I'm not going to set a resolution, or I'm going to give myself till October 1st. I'm going to start my diet on October 1st. If I say I'm going to start a diet or I'm going to start an exercise plan, to me, there's no need to wait. So that kind of goes back to that questioner side. They're going to keep their resolutions to themselves and do all those things. But if you're on that upholder questioner side, you're going to start it whenever you decide you're going to start it. Where if you're more on the obliger side, you might wait until a specific date. Yeah, start on Monday, or start on the first of the month, or whatever it is. I'm going to give myself the weekend. Then I'll start on Monday. Yeah. And then if you're more on the upholder obliger side, more weight is given to outer expectations in those conflicting situations. So self-disciplined, as long as personal pursuits do not hinder the expectations of others. So, and one thing they said for this is to create boundaries to make sure that your inner expectations are met. So set aside that time where you kind of go, she said, kind of go off grid and have that time for yourself where you're accountable to yourself and you're not really available to other people. The last thing I have is kind of working with an upholder. Upholders tend to make great colleagues relating to their traits. So as a coworker, they're a self-starter, kind of know what they want to get done and motivated to get straight to work to get those things checked off their to-do list. Performance-oriented, seek to do quality work at the highest of our ability. Thrive without supervision. We recognize our limits. So if we think we have a weakness somewhere, we're fine working up until we in our zone. But once we get something we don't think we can do, we might tell someone we don't think we can do it. But I can see where that could be kind of a drawback as well, because you have your own perceived limit and you might not push yourself to kind of go beyond that. Then we execute on things that are promised or asked. So if a supervisor asks us to complete a task, we're more than happy to do it. And personally, if it's something that doesn't hinder my personal task, or if my personal task can be kind of pushed aside, if Sherry asks me to do something, I'm pretty much on it. Or if I know it's not going to take me very long, I'd rather just do it and help her get get that done, and I can get back to my task. And so I'm still getting a bunch of things checked off. So again, it's checking things off lists.
So for those employees, it would be really important to have performance evaluations that let them know how they're doing, and maybe doing a goal setting activity at the beginning of the year and then checking in all year with them.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I do thrive whenever I kind of know how I'm doing. And I think that if I just want to know, I mean, feedback is good for these people that they know kind of the space they're in and they're doing a good job, or what they need more work on maybe. And then if you're an upholder, as a leader or a supervisor, you're good at setting expectations. They do expect others to prove themselves and delegate selectively, which kind of goes back to that not trusting others to do the job as good as you might do it. Fair at applying rules and regulations and schedules. Have the ability to set a clear vision for the future. Have a good planning ability. And good at evaluating others' abilities and setting work based off of the personal skill set. So you're the person that's going to be able to kind of view somebody maybe working in the kitchen and say, oh, they're not so great at that, but they're really good at this. So you might delegate them to do tasks that are more suited for that person. So that's all I have for the upholder. I think we said we're going to take a